afraid. I'm sitting there like, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Ask Mathis. I'm your host, Reggie Mathis, and rocking with me is my brother Wildman Teddy T, a.k.a. Baron Theo Mound-builder.
Still watching Channel Zero. Still on it. Dangerous.
I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said, "You've been fired."
What?
Then the other letter said, "You got to come back because we can't turn the toilet on." Like, bruh, your boys just going in there wilding, man. Wait, hold on, Steph. You agree? You agree? Oh, man, wow. We're in that find out period right now.
He wildin'.
So what got our Step to say he wildin'?
It's just too fast, man. Instead of him going in there with a scalpel, he went in with a
chainsaw.
Yeah.
Bruh, is it not clear to you that Elon Musk is, bruh, what is this man right now? Is he in charge, bruh?
In charge. He's in charge of the audit.
Or he's the guy that said, man, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take all your arrows. Let him blame it on me. The problem is, old boy's a narcissist,
right,
and he get jealous when we starting to say Elon Musk just as often as we, right?
What he's doing is, and you got to admire Trump, he's keeping Elon Musk domesticated. He's keeping him wrapped up here in the United States while he's over there stirring up stuff in Europe, stirring up, getting some minerals in Ukraine, starting up, over here in the Middle East.
I do kind of like that. Can I acknowledge the one part of foreign policy, making Ukraine give up some of those natural resources. That's that right there. I'm like, makes sense. Look what they made Haiti do. How long has France been, getting paid off Haiti? Saying, "Oh, y'all want y'all freedom? This how much it costs."
They financed the Declaration of Independence from doing that, from the 1500s for 200 years before that. That's how they was able to finance.
At one point, Haiti was the most profitable colony. At that time,
1500 to
getting
1700.
Just
sugar,
flooding,
everything.
Spices, just coming back, all the exotics, man. They just had, they enabled France to live that lavish, lifestyle. Like, you think about Versailles, you go and build a whole nother palace outside of Paris because you just want to just whatever you can think of, you just want a ball. You just want a ball. So our man looks like he's getting I told y'all last time that he was running for governor, and now Trump then came out and it's like, so what's the reason? What's the reason that Trump says, okay, I ain't against all black people. I'm just against the black people who not with me.
That's all.
But if you down with me, I'll show you, loyalty and I back you. Is that what we see with Byron Donald?
That's what's going on because he's going to need Trump is playing chess. So he needs people out there in the field on our side that can say, no, pay attention. This is what he's doing in the long run. This is what he's going to do. And then that upper echelon of African Americans will be like, we're going to follow your lead because he got you here. And
no, that's the thing. The old playbook of you're Tom is what's being used. And the thing is, will he be able to break through? He can certainly get, white Republicans to be like, hey, he's one of the good ones. Like we saw with Tim Scott. He's one of the good ones. Herschel Walker, they backed him in Georgia. The thing is, who's going to gain acceptance in the black community. And if you don't have buy-in in the black community, then he's just another one of your guys in blackface. If there's no buy-in, you know, Corey Simon is a potential. He's a Republican in the state legislature. He played professional football for the Eagles. He went to Florida State, and he graduated from Ely. So, okay. Oh, that's right. You were saying like summers. You did like summer school or something like that.
No, my freshman year.
Oh, you did freshman year at Ely?
He was a senior.
Wow. So you get what I'm saying. Corey Simon is a guy who has, you know, folks can vouch for him. You know what I mean? They played with him, seen, you know, he's a good guy. He don't come with all the rah-rah. And, you know, he out there walk it like you talk it. You just come in with conservative values and views, right? If I was ever to run, it would be, you know, conservative values and views, but my views does not include going into your bedroom. Like that, I'm not with that. I don't need to know what you doing inside your bedroom because I don't want you to know what I'm doing inside of mine, right? But another thing, I don't agree with if you were born a man, if you were born a boy, I do not believe that you should be playing in a female-dominated sport. You know, anything that has to do like track, boxing, basketball, you know, football, you know, anything that relies on.
Maybe ping pong. Maybe.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? Anything that is going to rely on the physics or whatever. It's like, bruh, create a whole new league. I'm looking right here, Unrivaled. I've been watching these games. I'm like, man, these girls can ball.
That's right.
And I didn't know if it was college ball. I didn't know what it was. And now they got a story. Teddy, I'm going to pass it over to you. Now they got a story in the Herald talking about the league. I'm like, oh, that's what I've been watching.
No, Angel Reese and all them invested in it. She's in it. And you're seeing good head-to-head basketball. I think it's 4-on-4. Seems like, I don't know, 4-on-4, 3-on-3. But it's dope. Like, I've been watching it for the past 3 weeks. It comes on, I think, Tuesdays and Thursdays. On
Yeah, they
time.
say all the games are down in Medley. And all the players, you know, down there doing whatever. But that's what I'm saying, bro. Do something like that. Create your own league. You know, I might watch it. If it's fun, you know, to see, like, you know, somebody born a dude dressed up like a girl, being like Mike Tyson, knocking him out.
Elbowing him out the way.
You know what I mean? Or like the Jim Carrey character on In Living Color, who's coming in there with taking all the steroids, looking.
Joanna Man got you. Once you saw Joanna Man, you
Yeah.
saw, like, you know.
Yeah, bro. I mean, so just some of the things that the, you know, I would say the progressives, the liberals and whatnot, you know, to run. But going back to the point, I would take, you know, Corey Simon, I think has the ability to break through. Whether or not he can withstand the whole notion of, you know, the Uncle Tom syndrome and all that you're going to come to coon stuff and you doing this or whatever, you know, assuming that he can break through, it's going to take somebody like that, man, to just come and give it straight up like it is. In today's climate, though, you know, it's very, very difficult to break through without
Going over.
pledging your allegiance.
I mean, can we break it down to there's public servants and politicians, and let's call out the public servants and let's call out the politicians. And
You got something.
Now we don't have no problem.
Yeah, I mean, or eliminating the whole political party, like the partisan elections. You know, run, you know, non-party affiliated to get stuff done. Cause that's what it is. It don't matter the color. Just come in and say, man, I want to do X, Y, and Z for your people. You know, I want to do this. I want to do that. Let's see what it is. And forget about who your mama is, who your daddy is, what school you went to, all that other stuff, just to be like, man, I could get something from you. I can get this. You know, I say it all the time. You know, if you not independently, you don't have to be independently wealthy. I would say content and satisfied, where you can pay your bills. You know what I mean? You're not living check to check, and you seeing what's going on in your community, and it's like, hey, I want to come in there and do it. Because in South Florida in particular, you know, these developers, when they come in, and they come in with big bags. They come in with big bags. So it's nothing. If I'm about to get a $12 million windfall in this situation, what's $50,000 to make sure I get the project? What's $50,000 that I got to pay somebody to make sure they come out there in favor of my project? That's why you always have, you know, people getting in trouble in political office, because they broke, they in debt, they got all this stuff going on, and so it's easy to come in and be like, bruh, you know what I mean? We can, those what you call problems, they ain't problems no more.
You know,
That's
that was always the angle in our industries coming from the record business. You always go and find out what the person's weakness is. It's either women, money, or drugs. And you amplify that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you pretty much in the record business.
That's been the spies too. Look at you know, during World War II. In World War II, you know, you had the spies. Like, well, who is it? Whatever. You know, who you gonna bed down with? And I don't care who you are. You know, a woman can make a man feel like, you know, Hercules. Woman make you feel, you know, like you done put it down. You done Jimmy Superfly snooker the whole thing and whatnot. And next thing you know, you sitting there talking about all your plans, everything you got going on and whatnot. And then somebody gonna come busting through your door, going back there to get all your stuff. So, hey, ASAP Rocky, man. So shout out to ASAP Rocky. Remember, I said his defense was akin to Tory Lanez, Lil Boosie, and it was one more. I said the white boy who got Alec Baldwin. Yeah, Baldwin, as far as, you know, those situations. But the way ASAP Rocky used it, and with his attorney, is you know, I watched a lot of that trial and definitely observed the trial technique, you know, that buddy used, which, you know, I've had to resort, I wouldn't say resort, but I've had to do that from time to time. And that is when you have to demonstrate passion. Like, you have to demonstrate passion, like, especially, man, if you representing what society might consider to be a monster, you know, in terms of like the allegations. But it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he charged with. But when I break this down, this is like, you'll see that he the real victim as far as being falsely, wrongly, you know, accused of how this thing is going down. And these folks over here, they got they have all the resources to go and do a few things to show that this man didn't do it. They didn't do it. And how many times have you come back and seen, I just saw a guy just did 27 years, went in when he was 16. Now he's out at 43. Wrongfully accused. This man was sitting there. It was like, bro, it was hard. To me, it was some hard time. He was like, man, there was time I was bitter. There was times where it was just no. I had to get through that phase where I started writing again, and he was like, it only took one yes. I got a yes. People looked into my case, looked into my situation, and something that Joe Tocopina, A$AP Rocky's attorney, said that I agree with. Sometimes you have prosecutors, instead of seeking justice, they just want to win. They just want to win, bro. And I tell you, I'd be
How
a
do you
thousand,
justify that?
bro. I'd be a thousand with you. When I was a prosecutor, there was a running joke. Like anybody can convict a guilty person, convict somebody that's innocent. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody can. You know what I mean?
Right there.
Like you supposed to win. You supposed to win.
Right.
You supposed to win. Like law enforcement out there, they're gonna and this is before body cam. So now with body cam, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Between body cam and cameras everywhere and digital footprint, bruh, the prosecutor's supposed to win. Mm-hmm. They supposed to win. So when you come in or whatever, and I had my story. Is like, to be in those conversations, which was, that's what it was. Cause I had a case one time. I prosecuted a dude, man. His lawyer was a real jerk. And he like came in the courtroom like basically y'all dropped the charges. Like who dropping the charges? Like y'all done wasted my time and had me and dragged me down here to court. You know what I mean? It was like, buddy, get in line. Get in line, and if we get to you, right, then, what I'm saying, choose your weapon. Right. Like, bro, I'm here. What you think I'm making $24,000 a year for? To go against the public defender? Some folks I was in law school with a month ago? Bro, I'm here to go against the best so that one day when I'm getting paid, when I'm wearing $1,000 suits, right now I'm wearing $100 suits, you know what I'm saying, wrinkle-free $100 suits that I'm up in here, and you trying to like, man, please teach me, show me something. So buddy came in. The judge is like, I was in trial on another case. They called it a blitz. And that was when, like, basically they bring in judges to get rid of a bunch of cases. So it's just like a blitz. You either take like a really, really good plea bargain to, try to clear some of the docket, or you go on to trial. And we bringing in extra people to take you to trial, like they talking about with ICE and hiring additional judges and whatnot. So, bro, we in trial with Calvin Mack. God bless the dead. But he was one of the first black judges. He wasn't even an attorney. He was a city of Miami officer, and back in the day you could be a judge without being a lawyer. So Judge Mapp ended up in our courtroom, and we was going to trial back to back. This dude came in there, we already in trial. Judge Mack, he loving it. He said, "Oh man, I see there's a black kid in here. Let me see what he working with. He worked me that week." So he was like, "We in trial on something else." He told the guy, he said, "Come back tomorrow." So we finished the trial that we was in. Buddy came back the next day. We went to trial. Buddy had 3 artificial ribs. Dude had 3 artificial ribs, a punctured lung, and a club foot. And went to trial on a refusal. Went to trial. Well, they tried to call it a refusal, but his first reading was like a .1. It's like a .120, over the legal limit. And his and the second reading he wouldn't give. It's what you call low sample volume. It's like it's a safeguard that they have so people don't play when they blow into the Intoxilizer 5000R. You got to give a continuous blow for a certain amount of time. Otherwise, it's going to register a low sample volume. So Buddy was like, he's not blowing all the way because I guess he probably somehow saw like that first reading was over the limit. So now he playing. So in Miami, if you do not have what's called .02 compliance, like both your readings have to be within .02 of each other. So it would have been acceptable to have a .08, or it would have been acceptable to have a .12, within that range. But because Buddy had the low sample volume, they tried to keep the reading out. So I had to lay what's called a Bender predicate, right? And to have that first reading come into evidence where I wasn't entitled to the FDLE guidelines, which is a presumption, which I was like, man, I don't even care about the presumption. If I can get it in that he was over a .08 and show what he did or whatever. So the jury came back and convicted him, right? But he we went to trial. He convicted him on that. And so that was my story. While I was a prosecutor, it was always not that Buddy was not, that he was innocent, but it went along with the joke. Right. But it was more so like when you come in with facts like that, and Buddy came in with all these physical issues and whatnot, his dude was like, man, this is going to be a walk in the park. But we put him down. So in the ASAP Rocky situation, he says he was licensed to carry firearm or possess a firearm in his home, but was not licensed to carry a firearm in the streets, and he did not have 24-hour security as he does now. So during that particular time, he would carry a prop gun. And to his attorney's credit, they were able to say that this is the prop gun from a video that they had shot, and they was able to reference the video and show, look, boom, here's the same what he had. Now here's the thing where I would say he earned his money, because when he earned his money, he was like, yeah, he went and just modified it. Like, what you mean? He just went in there and just modified it. He had a whole holster, a belt, and what looked like an extendo. That's where he earned his money. That's where Tocopina earned his money, because he came in there with the whole extendo, right? So that was one of those facts that, when you first get a case, when you sitting down with the client, and they'll just like, let me get a picture of that. Let me see what it looks like. And then you sit there, you like, really? like, really? Like, really? And then Buddy had to be like, man, it wasn't real. What do you mean it wasn't real? What? Tell me more. So it was like, here's the prop, but they didn't show where they got the extendo and all that other stuff from or whatever. But then the other thing he said is that it happened in a parking lot, and nothing was like no cars nearby. There was no broken window, no anything. There were no casings found. This supposed to be like a 9. Like there was nothing, no shells, nothing. There was no evidence, and from the proximity, as far as the closeness of the alleged victim, it was like, buddy, a 9 this close, something is leaving you. So a part, if it touches the tip of your knuckle is gone. Like whatever it touches, gone. So it was like no injuries indicating any sign of, of that. So, kudos to him, and he did a good job of just totally destroying the prosecutor on the case. He was like, the prosecutor had the Durst case back in the day, and the appellate courts had held him up as being a guy that be cheating and going too far, withholding evidence and whatever. And it was like, he almost came to blows with him. And they was in court where the judge had to keep telling him, like, chill, because they was like going at each other, man. You know what, man? I got, like, they was really about that life. So kudos to Joe Tacopina. And what else we got, Stuff? Yes, sir.
Why is it sometimes if a prop gun is issued in a crime, it's upheld as an actual gun?
Because it's not.
No, sometimes if I've seen cases where someone used a fake gun.
Oh no, because it depends on what the charge is. It depends on what the charge is. For instance, if you have a prop gun and you go in there and use that to rob a bank, that's you're not going to get the enhanced if you can prove, because it's still an affirmative defense. Right. If you can prove that it was a prop gun or what have you, you won't get the firearm enhancement. Right. Because there's different things. When you get a verdict form, it breaks down. You have lesser offenses, certain offenses. You have to prove to the jury, did the person carry a firearm? And the firearm has to fit the definition of the firearm. But when you talk about a charge like, bank robbery and its success, you can't come back and say, oh, this gun wasn't real. Because in the charge itself, did you put them in fear? And you can put a person in fear with that particular weapon. With that particular weapon, it depends on if firearm is in the essence of the charge, if it's an element of the charge. So like each charge has, like, let's take for instance a burglary. A burglary is basically comprised of a trespass, which is an unlawful entry with the intent to commit a crime therein. So that could be a battery, that could be a theft, that could be you just did a bust a window, which is criminal mischief. You just want to, slap them. You want to any enumerated offense coupled with an unlawful entry is a burglary. So you'll see a long instruction saying, did the person unlawfully enter into the premises? And so where those type of cases typically come up is what you call curtilage cases. And a curtilage case is one where something happens like in the front yard of somebody. Technically, even though you're not in their house, that could be, considered an unlawful entry, a trespass. And if there's an intent, like, they could charge you with loitering and prowling. They could charge you with, anything, you jump the fence to get on or whatever. You're within the curtilage, within the gates of somebody's premises, could potentially satisfy that first element of an unlawful entry. Just like if you go behind the register, like in a convenience store, at an Arab store, whatever, like they can, hit you. Like sometimes I went into a store the other day and they had like the chargers like kind of behind the desk where somebody would come. It was at CVS. And in my mind, I'm like, if I go right there, no, I was looking for a frame. It was a frame for a proclamation that we was given, and the frames was like catty corner, like where you at, Teddy, and this is like the register, but the frames is like behind, and I'm looking at the store like the store is packed, and they just had to find any space, and I'm like, here all the frames with the prices and all that. It's not like they in storage, they like right here. Nobody was there, so I walked, right there in that corner, and I'm looking down, but I was uncomfortable because I knew, like, depending on who it is, like somebody can come like, hey, you're not allowed behind there, get from behind there, whatever. So, yeah. What else we got? Robert Johnson exonerated. Yeah, man. This is the one I was telling you about earlier, bruh. Mm-hmm. No, this is a different one. The one I did was the guy did. He came out at 43, went in at 16. This guy right here, what does it say? He went in 30 years of wrongful imprisonment, finally free. Crime he didn't commit. Coerced testimony. No physical evidence or eyewitnesses. Justice, man. The justice and the injustice system.
Live 26 in California, where Robert Johnson, 43-year-old, has finally been released from prison. He's been in there for almost 30 years. He had his sentence vacated yesterday. I think he's coming up to the microphone, and let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, this is the one I was talking about.
Robert,
can you turn it up, please?
I didn't think this day was gonna happen. They had me in that cage for 28 years and 10 months of my life for something I didn't have nothing to do with. I'm just thankful that we got in front of a judge that was honorable and that was fair and finally put an end to this nightmare, this hell on earth that I've been dealing with since I was 16 years old.
Robert, your family said you stayed so positive over the last 28 years. What was it like? What went through your head for the last 3 decades?
I had my ups and downs. It was positive, negative. At one point, I was real bitter. I came up out of that because of my family. They supported me, kept my heart, and I'm really lost for words, but I'm gonna get through this here. I came up out of it, and I started fighting to prove my innocence, and Start writing people. I don't know how many letters I wrote, maybe thousands. No matter how many no's I got one yes. And that's when things started to change for me.
So what's next for you?
What's next for me? I would really like to start making the world more conscious of there are a lot of people in prison for things that they didn't do. It seems to me that the public, it's like they see it on the news, but it's like they don't relate to it for some reason. They don't understand that it is a reality. Like it was just easy just for them to go in there and just say it was me. And I've been in here 28 years of my life. And there wasn't nothing I can do about it. I tried. I screamed. Wouldn't nobody listen to me. And I just want the world to know that there are people, there's still people here in prison, in the Cook County Jail, for things they didn't, for crimes that they didn't commit.
Yeah, man. Powerful, right?
Oh, yeah.
Powerful, man. Powerful. Like that voice right there, you can't make it up. You can't, you just got to deal with it. But is there appetite to deal with those voices, man? Because it's about to get very, very real. Things about to get extremely, extremely real. But I'm not worried. I'm more just I'm more concerned about our people. And are we going to live life as a pre-1954 existence? And when you say a pre-1954, existence, we're talking about before Brown v. Board of Education. We're talking about before integration. We're talking about when the church was part of the center of our community where, many of our problems were solved, whether it be financial, somebody, can't make the light bill this month, coming to the church or getting loans from the church, credit unions, education. I mean, they are eliminating and they are asking, institutions who are receiving grants from the government or scholarships or loans from the government that they have to eliminate any reference to race. Does that mean there are going to be fewer black folks in school? Whether that be because they can't afford to go or, there's the desire. Some people go to college even though they're not necessarily college material, but certain things you can do, maybe come out and become a PE teacher. I'm just, what I mean, bro? Just come on, man, Teddy. Why you laughing? man, just go, man. Just go, bro. Just go.
Hey, come here. He said, go out and maybe go to college and graduate and become a PE teacher.
Bro, physical fitness is important, but I'm just saying, just certain things just to get the certificate, you don't necessarily need that. I'm going back to my man with a career in a year. There's certain careers you can making $100,000 a year, but you getting the skill within the year. You come out, become a plumber, come out, become an electrician, come out and do certain things, and that you don't want to, necessarily. Bruh, what's worse, man, than somebody going and spending $75,000, $80,000 to go in there and learn about art, philosophy. I would love to do that. I would have loved to just been going and just be a tastemaker. You know what I'm saying? I tell my mom, I tell my parents, man, I'm going to school to become a tastemaker. Like I'm up on the finest wine. I can come in and look at somebody else art and critique it.
Hey, if they pay you for it, why not? That's the whole point.
But hey, is that not what an influencer? But you don't need to go to college for that. That's the point. Not saying that, don't go and get paid. I'm just saying.
Watching Casanet last weekend in the All-Star game, just seeing him where he's at. He put himself there.
He put himself there by
by being consistent.
Just coming in. People want your content. They want what it is that you bring to the table. And, that's what it is. They look forward to what you have to say. And the format is addictive, man. I find myself listening to Ricky Smiley morning show in the morning, either at 7:06 or 8:06, man. I got to hear that crazy dude, Gary with the T, even though I don't agree with a single thing he says. He comes with so much ignorance. Bruh, he comes with so much ignorance that I'm just there to hear what he got to say. Like, he just come and say something and say the dumbest thing about that whole thing. It's like, bruh, are you doing this purposely? It has to be. It's like you can't be that level of ignorant than this guy is. I'm like, this has to be his character. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I get it now. So now I'm addicted to it. Because he be like, honey, shorty, what? Because the brat comes in there, and it's like the honeymooners, like, to the moon, Alice. You got to have somebody playing off you or whatever, because he's just coming with this craziness. And the brat, is finally taking on the role, because he's been there for a while, but the brat is more a recent addition. And the brat be sitting there like, nah, chill with that. You tripping. Like, you tripping right now. You totally off. Keep like, I'm just saying, that's what I heard. It's like, she don't have no more money. Like, he'll come in there and be like, I heard Beyonce broke now. Tell me, what you mean he broke? She broke. Tell me, the dress, somebody had her wearing a dress in Paris, and then she turned around and wore that same dress to the hairdresser. She falling off. It'd be like, are you for real? All that money, bro. It's just so ignorant to me that I got to watch it. I have to view it, man. So rest in peace, Valletta Wallace, man. At 72, to pass away without, do you think she wrote somewhere or said something about Puffy having, on her deathbed or anything is about Puffy and his involvement, if that she feel, whatever it is, man, like, she dead now, bruh.
I know she was proud that she grew his estate from 10 million to 150 million.
Okay. Yeah.
That's something that.
To pass away in comfort, like all her bills was paid, right? She was living comfortably, and and that's what we want, man. That's what people want. You've been following this thing, man. My dog, Steve Smith Sr., man. Bruh, Steve Smith Sr., like they having a whole thing at ESPN. We already spoke about how they, got your Joy, how they got Joy Taylor, basically like she slept her way to the top with everybody and the other dude, Colin Cowherd, was offering like $1.5 million for Taste. And we didn't get it, and then talking about, I know you're smashing Shannon. I know you're smashing Shannon. You know what I mean? Like, he's smashing everybody. Give me some. And it was just like, nah. But they saying, your boy Steve Smith was smashing one of the ladies that worked, in the office, the Spanish lady. And Buddy calls, you can't play the call, because if you play the call, he's using the F word, but he put the text messages, up there, basically showing that, those things that no husband wants to, that no husband wants to view, that this what allegations from this what a wife on. This is what his wife is on. You know, basically like number one, that he hitting. That's just number one. Then number two, he hitting raw. He hitting raw. And number three, that she likes it and is craving it and is basically, basically like, hey, at times like, I gotta get home, like I gotta get home, but I wish I was hanging on that vine right now, if you know what I mean. Ew. Yeah, man.
I was just like some tall, dark, and handsome,
bruh. When if this message is true, Teddy, he gets the call. He get the call like this, Teddy. Like, hello. He say, you smashing my wife? But that wasn't the word he was saying. He was like, hey, so you smashing my wife? But he's like, man, I was in the Ravens band, like, what I mean? Like, he just trying to figure out, like, like, man, I respected you, all that stuff you're saying on there and whatnot.
And Steve ain't saying nothing.
He did say, what do you have to say for yourself? Teddy, I don't know if because you ask him now, he'll say, man, I wasn't really talking about that. That was just the next thing you heard. But it was, I'm sorry.
What can he say? Sorry about that, bro.
That's what I'm saying, man. When he gets representation, when he get representation, he was like, no, that wasn't the question that I heard. I wasn't saying I was sorry for doing it. I was saying, I'm sorry, like, excuse me, what are you saying? Prank caller, like that. But he was just like, wow.
He told homeboy, just walk it off.
Bruh, I think you just say, man, it's other fish in the sea.
That's about it.
There's other fish in the sea. And here's President Obama, man. He sounding like he coming across like Bill Clinton when Obama ran the first time. Bill Clinton got put in timeout in the black community. He got put in timeout for a minute. And, we had a kumbaya moment and he was allowed back to the picnic. But, there was a minute. I think President Obama is close to, if you watch this clip right here, and I'm not going to taint it. I'm going to let it play. But here's Obama, man. He's sticking his nose in people's business.
I say something, though. Y'all got to have a little more pride in that All-Star game. I mean, look, it's not as if y'all don't play pickup during the summers.
Right.
You know how to play in a way that, all right, I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to take anybody out. That All-Star game's, it's broke, man.
Well, I
mean, like, people just like not running. Everybody just trying all kinds of.
Well, I'm not.
It used to be when Kobe and Michael and Isaiah, those guys were playing, man. I mean, they weren't playing the way they did regular season, but they wanted to win.
This sounds like a conversation with my pops right now. He gave me the same speech.
It insults the game.
Well, all I said is my first All-Star game, I came off the bench. So I'm just reading the room of what's going on, and I'm just going to adjust to whatever.
No, I agree, but everybody needs to be just like, all right.
We got to lock in better.
Lock in better.
Well, we had
because you're showing out, this is your business. This is your product. You don't want people thinking. Can I say something, though?
What? I'll let you take this first, Teddy, because I know you watch more sports TV than I do. I don't watch basketball really until March Madness and the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Well, this year, the All-Star game, they did different. They did the same thing like the girls. They had the 4-on-4 elements and
Did you like the tournament this year? The tournament style, they had the teams from the G League, the Rising Stars, and then they played like a team. Barkley had a team, Shaq had a team.
Barkley and Shaq team ended up playing at the end. But the
and then the
team,
WNBA had she was a coach too.
She had the Rising Stars, so that was a good game.
Yeah, she had one.
That was a real good game. The Rising Stars versus the OGs was good. they kind of went to the end because they played the 40. I think they should have went to 60 like they do in the girls. The girls go to 60, so I think they should have went to 60. But the games was competitive, and I think it was kind of set up for Barkley and Charles' team to go head to head since they're the ones that's always going like that on TV. So I thought that was cool.
Did you see Draymond Green's commentary? Because his stuff is going viral, man. Basically, he just was bad mouthing everything, talking about, I guess he taking it personally that he don't really get all-star selections, and he's like, these guys should never touch the stage on Sunday. They should never touch the court on Sunday.
He should have never even been there if he was gonna be acting like that. I like the challenge. What you call it? Our man Tyler
Hero.
He won the shooting.
Yeah, I think the Saturday night is their best night. That's their marquee night because that's the 3-point and the dunk contest.
And McClung, he 50s across the board. He makes John Morant and them like, okay, maybe we do need to come back. Which
gets to President Obama's point and what folks are saying, and people don't want to criticize current players don't want to criticize, but they're saying that all this changed with LeBron's entry into the league because he was, even Kobe, I think, competed in a dunk contest. Mm-hmm. I think he's saying that LeBron never competed in a dunk contest, and since he never competed in a dunk contest, the marquee players not doing it, competing, and there's no money, there's no incentive that can make them do it. And then this whole thing, like, we don't want to get hurt, as Obama said, like, man, y'all be playing pickup games all the time. We hear about these competitive pickup games, so what do we do to make it make sense? It is an all-star game. It is supposed to be, you see the NFL, how they changed theirs to flag. Like, why even pretend that, somebody about to get hurt at a Pro Bowl, or blitz. Like, somebody put in a blitz package at the Pro Bowl. It come in there, man, like, nah, but that could happen. That could happen. So folks was like, man, let's just get that out.
I think that back in the days when Magic and Bird, like when you come in from the 70s to the 80s and Magic and Bird and Doctor, they actually created what became the NBA All-Star, into Jordan, into Isaiah, and coming all the way to LeBron. I think from that point on, all the people that came, they built up the money value. Now these guys get X amount of money, and there's nothing for them to work for. Even all those guys.
And the money's guaranteed. Right. So it's not even like if you mess up, like the bread is guaranteed unless you violate a morals clause, like John Morant or Jimmy Butler. The money's guaranteed. So these guys aren't hungry. They aren't hungry anymore. So do we applaud the Philadelphia Eagles for declining the White House visit? Is there anything? Well, let's ask Step. Step, do you decline? Do you decline? Why did they decline? Do you know? It was saying that not all of them, just a majority of them, and I guess based on how many players were going to show up, they was like, nah, we're not even doing that. Like we're not even going to go. We're not even going to go. I think
it was expected.
Yeah, but you get an invitation, man. You get an invitation from the White House, from the president. You go. That's just how I was raised. You go. Just like when Biden came to my alma mater this year, there were people who were saying like they ain't want him. It was folks saying like, and the president of Morehouse, whether or not they say as a result of that or whatever, but he resigned shortly after Biden's visit because you had the whole, Gaza, Israel situation, and brothers want folks to confront him on that. And then you have folks saying, man, you don't confront no president on this or whatever. They say, okay, so you give them the stage to come in here and act like we complicit and use us as props. That was a very controversial, situation. And so I think, the president asked you to come, you come. To go there, show your face, man. I'm not one of those folks that was mad that Tiger Woods went to the White House for Black History. Mr. Coblinasian, him being there, okay, that acknowledges, I guess he's saying I'm black, because early in his career, he was Coblinasian. Right. So Black History, you the representative, you there. I know they probably had a difficult time trying to get him. So your boy is going to be like, you know what? That's how you feel? Like Snoop Dogg said at the Source Awards, I know where I'm at. Y'all don't got no love. Let it be what it is. Yes.
I think the part that I despise about, presidential invitations is especially when the president invites like college bands. We had the whole
the Mississippi Valley. Yeah, Mississippi Valley.
Black people getting mad at college.
And then if they don't get an invite, they didn't invite nobody. You come in and do this, whatever. Yeah, that's why I agree with you, man. It's like let's take the best scenario that can come from this thing. Then let's look through the eyes of Step. Let's look through the eyes of Step. Step does not favor government assistance for the most part. For the most part, he wants all the part. Well, you got some folks that are disabled. You got some folks that are mentally challenged. You got to take care of certain.
Yes. If you didn't have a fair shake, yes.
So, but if you're able-bodied, you should be able to find. You should be able to, survive. You should, get the opportunity to come out and do that. So I get it. So I was having a conversation with a colleague the other day. A colleague that I know from law school, right? And so we were talking, hadn't really spoken in a couple decades. So we just talking or whatever, and we were really, kind of cool in law school. And just like, politics came up very, very briefly, just to kind of catch where it was or whatever. And turns out that both of us are registered Republicans, right? But I was just like, I'm not really feeling all these, executive orders and whatnot. And, the elimination of DEI. And we're talking about General Brown, the chairman of the Black Chief of Staff, the Joint Chief of Staff. He just got the axe, right? 4-star general, was the first Secretary of the Air Force. So it's like, all right, they're basically like, like he did with our boy, former Dr. Overhood. How he was basically like, he called him an okay doctor, even though this man is like the preeminent neurosurgeon, pediatrician, separating youth, going all over the world, congenitally joined folks, separating them at the brain, like the Ben Carson. Like at the highest level, he's an okay doctor. He couldn't work on me. Same thing that you have with these folks saying, if they walk into a plane, they don't want to see a black pilot, right? Thinking like they can't do it or whatever. So that's the assumption that many people make. So speaking to, this is what was said by somebody that I feel is not racist, somebody that spoke candidly with me and made me think about things differently. She was like, well, for, if you want everybody to have a fair shake, you got to give everybody a fair shake and stop singling people out. This, back in the day, they used to call it a colorblind society. We got to have a colorblind society. So let's assume that that's true, right? We can talk about in our history, like, where things weren't that way, where they did not turn out right, where things were supposed to be, even kill, but, we've been cheated. It's kind of like watching the movie Gladiator, when Buddy's like, they're going to go against the emperor, but before he go against the emperor, he gets stabbed before it's time to go in for the, you know? So it's like we kind of always felt that way. So, yeah, if you come at me and, like, Step, I believe, is still, you know, like that, optimistic, where he's like, man, you give everybody the same chance, the same opportunity, people going to be all right. You can't rely on this crutch, especially when you're doing a high stress, complex job. You don't want somebody feeling like you're here, so you're substandard. We got the JV team, you know, and so in that regard, you know, you kind of feel that way, in a sense, where people are basically saying we tired of the whole slavery thing. We're tired of the whole, and while you're here, we have to say, all right, from our ancestors, we have to say, what can we do that our ancestors could not do? That is, love it or leave it. Our ancestors didn't have the opportunity to just pack up and say, you know, I'm going to go try this thing over in the Bahamas. I'm going to go try this thing over in Cuba. I'm going to go try this thing over in Jamaica. Or I'm going to go try this thing in Ghana. Or I'm going to go try this thing where the U.S. dollar goes further and I can be a part of developing, you know, society over here. If you're going to stay in the U.S., understand and recognize that in the U.S., it's going to be boom. It's like when you take a law school exam. It's colorblind, meaning it's called blind grading, meaning that they only have like a 12-digit number next to the exam, so the professor does not know whose exam they're grading. Right. So when the results come out, they are what they are. And I tell you, I've been at the top of this blind grading, you know, before. So, and I know other blacks who have as well.
I mean, I was in 5th grade. They introduced us to computers. So I guess that was 1985. No, not 1985.
1980.
1978.
You get one of them Texas Instruments.
Somewhere around there.
One of them junk. I was a media aide in 1980, 6th grade, when they changed 1980.
79 then.
When they changed, like, you know, we was on the Dewey Decimal System with the I was a media aide, and they came in. Some typists came in for like a week. The library was closed, and they just came in and just input like all the stuff and put barcodes on the book. So now when the folks come in, we just check them out with a pen, with a bling, you know, and check them out. Before we used to get the card, have to write their name on the back of the card, and you keep your set back or who checked it out.
Right.
So what was you saying, bro?
So when our teacher, he was big on computers. He had a computer in the room, and he would allow us to come up there and get on it. I think I just knew I was able to get on and I could type and do certain things. But he found that to be very, like, wow, you know, because none of the other black kids would even pay attention to the computer. So he took me with the rest of the white kids. We all went to Chicago, and actually did a whole week in Chicago doing computers. You know what I mean? And I was always good with the road key, the home keys. I got the home keys down, so after that I was always good working with computers. But I just felt it was kind of cool that, like, he was shocked because none of the other black kids in school,
they took to it.
I'm sitting there like, man, I can't do it. I can't do it.